There are quite a few things now that are really starting to annoy me about Amazon KDP. And Amazon need to make a stance on this. They need to make sure that they are eradicating these people that are ruining the platform for everybody else. Effectively what they're doing, they're allowing the platform to be diluted and it won't have its impact that it was actually intended for. So what are these practices, and are you actually familiar with what these are and what you shouldn't be doing? What things should you make sure that you don't have or you don't include when you're creating your books? Now, I've seen YouTube channels that are promoting things that are just outright wrong, and they need to make a stance to eradicate this kind of behavior, because over the long term, it will ruin the platform. There might be some changes that Amazon actually bring in, and I have my own thoughts on that, and I'll actually create a video about the kinds of changes I believe Amazon will bring in to ensure that the platform remains one that is professional, is clear from clutter, and stops some of this poor behavior that people start to do when they see a dollar sign, when they think short term rather than long term. So let me cover off a few things that I believe need to be nipped in the bud, that Amazon need to stamp out, and things that you can do to play your part to ensure that you don't compromise your own portfolio of books that you create, to ensure that you think about the long term and you have a business model that will last for many, many years to come. So let me get into these key areas that, again, are frustrating me at the moment. I'm sure they're frustrating you, and things that we might need to do, or Amazon could potentially do, to stamp out this practice. So let's jump into those areas that I feel could possibly break KDP and make the platform probably not as attractive for people to actually want to get on there and create books, load books up, and use that platform for the long term. So there are some things that really make me frustrated, because I know that we have a wonderful opportunity here to use this platform, but people are taking advantage of that. So what are these things that are really getting under my skin at the moment? Number one would be bulk uploads. And I've seen YouTube videos before, like the one you can see here. I'm not going to go into a great deal of detail about what this lady was talking about from her channel, but in summary, it was providing guidance on how to upload multiple books, 30 books in fact, in 10 minutes. Now that's not going to be good for anybody. I don't care if the argument is that you've got to upload a ton of books to try and make money. That's terrible advice. And what it also does is clog up the system of KDP. So can you imagine if people started continuing to upload 30 books at a time? Imagine if you uploaded 200 books in a day. It's not just going to ruin KDP, but it will compromise your account. And why would you do that? You are only going to position yourself where the algorithm of Amazon will pick up the fact that you're just uploading books. Now, it will also compromise the quality of book that you're creating. If you're uploading 30 books in 10 minutes, what sort of quality of books are you creating? You might be trying to do a slightly different variation of a cover, or even using the same interior and then trying slightly different covers. But please don't do bulk uploads. Firstly, it will compromise your account. Secondly, it's no good for the long-term viability of Amazon having all these books go up. And thirdly, it's just not a great approach to using this platform. So please stop doing bulk uploads. The next one, which I know infuriates me and it also causes frustration for other publishers, is inaccurate category listings by people that are trying to get their book ranked higher based on a certain category that mightn't have as many books. Now I'm going to show you an example of this from one publisher who tends to do it a lot. And the most frustrating thing is that some of their books are ranked very, very highly and they're in wrong categories. There has been a push by KDP to try and eradicate this practice. There's been correspondence that's been going out to publishers to say, well, you're incorrectly allocating your book to categories. If you don't get or change that book category or do something about it, well, that might be the end of your account. So let me show you an example of what I mean by someone taking advantage of a category with fewer books to try and get their to try and get their book ranked, and doing it the wrong way. And again, it can only lead to potential termination. And why would you do that? Just to try and get your book a little bit higher? Well, it's not a long-term play. And again, it is ruining Amazon KDP and the experience for the customer, but also those that are trying to do the right thing with their category. So let me show you an example of what this looks like. If we just scroll and have a look at this, it's by Colouring Book Kim. This one, #1 in oil painting. #2 in children's Australia and Oceania history books. And then the children's cut and assemble books. Let's go down a bit further and see if they're still doing it. Let's go to this one. So it's a bestseller. A bestseller in what? A bestseller in Kathmandu travel guides. #1 in ornamental graphic design. And #1 in mosaic crafting. Let's go down a bit further. Let's have a look at this one. #1 in teaching students with developmental intellectual disabilities. I'm not quite sure. Is it or is it not? But it's definitely not #1, or it shouldn't be in the category of New Brunswick travel guides. That just really annoys me, because we're trying to get our books into the right categories. Firstly, so the customers can find those books. It's a good customer experience. If they're searching for a category for Brunswick travel guides, if we go to here, and this person has a book on toddler colouring book, whereas other people are trying to look for Nova Scotia and Nova Scotia books and Canada, whereas they come up with the #1 being a toddler colouring book. Not on. Anyway, that's the second one that I really think that people need to stop doing, because again, you'll compromise your account, and secondly, you're ruining Amazon with KDP publishing. And now this one is duplicate interiors. Similar to bulk uploads, where someone will use the same interior and just continually to change slight variation of the cover and have exactly the same interior all the time. And they might do this 100 times. Again, you're compromising your account. You could get your account terminated by doing duplicate interiors. If you do get an interior from Creative Fabrica or BookBolt, someone like that that provides those free templates, just make some modifications to that template to make it original. Don't just use that exact template. Make sure you make some changes, add some things, make it your own. Have some ownership over that template. So please don't do duplicate interiors, and you just need to think for the long term. Again, don't smash KDP with all of these books that have all similar interior. And look, if there's other things that people that you see are doing which is ruining the experience of Amazon KDP, just put it down in the comments below, because it'd be fascinating to hear your feedback as well. So as I say here, you will not just ruin your opportunities, your future opportunities with KDP, but the quality of the platform for everybody else. And that also includes the customer. And they are the most important people in the end, because they're the ones that are buying your book. We really need to look after this platform. I know there are going to be people that continue to mismanage their accounts, do the wrong thing, but I really hope that this video makes that a minority, because the more of a minority we have, the less chance we have of forcing Amazon to make these changes which could impact your business for the long term, because they might have to do these changes, make these changes like they've done recently with the ISBNs, that will make more of a challenge and more of a barrier to entry to upload books to KDP. Now that might be a good thing, having more of a barrier to entry, but I know when I was first starting out, having a limited barrier to entry was actually helpful. It got me going. I didn't have a big outlay financially to do. But if things don't change and they continue on the same pattern of behavior that I'm seeing right now, well, there will be changes. I guarantee that. And they may not be changes that you would like, and they might be costly changes which at the end of the day will come out of your own pocket to get books onto Amazon. So just make sure that you are doing the right thing when you're publishing with Amazon KDP. So there are a few of my initial frustrations right at this point in time. There's some others, but what I'd like you to do is share your current concerns, your frustrations with Amazon KDP, and maybe some suggestions of what they should be doing to clean things up. Because along with concerns that we might have, we need to have solutions of what we can do to improve the platform. What can we suggest to Amazon to make things better? So I'd love to hear your comments and your suggestions down below. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you at my next video.